Good day everyone. Welcome to today's edition of our mathematics presentation. Okay, the topics that we are going to discuss today: Mathematics 6, Module 4, division of whole numbers by a fraction, mixed fraction by another mixed fraction. Okay, to divide whole number by a fraction or vice versa, make your whole number into a fraction. Now, how to make your whole number into a fraction? Take note that a whole number will always have a denominator of 1. So that if you have 3 as the whole number, it will become 3 over 1. So if you have 12, it will become 12 over 1. Meaning to say, a whole number will always have a denominator of 1. So that if we have 3 over 1, if we divide 3 over 1, you will have 3. If you divide 12 by 1, you will still have 12. So that is what you are going to do when you are to change whole number into a fraction. Okay, let's take into the example. Whole number of 3 divided by 5, 6 or 5 over 6. So the rule says make your whole number into a fraction. So 3 will become 3 over 1 divided by 5, 6. So that is the first step that you are going to do. Make your whole number into a fraction with a denominator of 1. Okay, let's go to the second example. You have 4 over 7 divided by 6. So the divisor is a whole number. So again, the rule says to divide a whole number by a fraction or vice versa. Make your whole number into a fraction. So our divisor is a whole number, so we will make our divisor a fraction. So 6 will now become 6 over 1. So 5, 6 divided by 6 over 1. That's what the rule says. Okay, after making our whole numbers into a fraction, so we will now proceed to the next step. So the rules in dividing fraction is that you multiply the dividend by the reciprocal of the divisor. So our dividend is 3 over 1, huh? Divided by 5, 6. So we will have the reciprocal of our divisor. Our divisor is 5, 6. So that will become 6 over 5. And from division, it will become into multiplication. So that is the second step in doing the multiplication of fraction or whole number by a fraction. Now let's go to the second example. So we have a fraction divided by a whole number. So we were able to change whole number into a fraction, which is now 6 over 1. So our divisor is 6 over 1. So the rule says multiply the dividend by the reciprocal of the divisor. So we will have to invert our divisor. From 6 over 1, it will become 1 over 6. So from division, it will become multiplication, because that's what the rule says. So this is now the second step that we are doing. So from division, we come into multiplication. So we can now proceed to the next step. So we are now through with the second step. So we will go into multiplication now. So we multiply 3 times 6, we will have 18. And we have 1 times 5, we will get 5. So our result will be 18 over 5. So that is performing the third step, which is doing the multiplication. Now for a second example, we have to perform multiplication again because we have already invert the divisor. So operation becomes multiplication. So we multiply 5 times 1, we will get 5. And we multiply also 6 times 6, we'll get 36. Okay, let's take into the result of our multiplication. So our fraction is 18 over 5. Take note that 18 over 5 is not a proper fraction. Why is it that we call it improper fraction? It's because 18 over 5, 18 is bigger than the denominator of 5. Therefore, it is improper fraction. So, if we have an improper fraction, we need to change this into a proper fraction. Now, how to do it? Simply, we will divide 18 by 5. So we have divide 18 by 5. First digit quotient is 3. Multiply 3 times 5, we have 15. So we will subtract 18 minus 15, we will have 3. 3 cannot be divided by 5 anymore. So we will have to distribute now the result. So 3, which is the quotient, will become your whole number. The remainder of 3 will now become your numerator, and your divisor, which is 5, will become your denominator. So your answer is 3 and 3 fifth, or 3 over 5. So looking at this fraction is now in the Lewis term because 3 and 5 are both we have prime numbers. We cannot look for any other factor that can reduce the fraction anymore. So final answer is 3 and 3 fifth, or 3 over 5. Okay, let's take another example. A mixed number divided by a whole number. So what are we going to do with this one? So to divide a mixed fraction or mixed number by a whole number, first step is change mixed fraction into an improper fraction. So we have already discussed about that in our previous topics about addition, subtraction, and about the multiplication fraction. Wherein we are taught how to change mixed fraction into an improper fraction. So second rule is make your whole number into a fraction. So let's apply the first step now. Okay, let's now apply the rule in multiplying mixed fraction by whole number. So according to the rule number 1, change mixed fraction into an improper fraction. So 5 and 2/3, we will have to change this into an improper fraction. We multiply denominator of 3 to the whole number. We have 3 times 5. So we have 15. We will add a numerator, which is 2. We have 17. So our fraction will now be 17 over 3. We will copy the denominator of the mixed fraction. So the fraction will now be 17 over 3. So our divisor is a whole number. So according to the rule, make your whole number into a fraction. So from 6, it will now become 6 over 1. Because we apply the rule that all whole numbers will have a denominator of 1 if we change them into a fraction. So we were now able to perform the first step. Okay, we are now able to perform the first step. Now we will go to the rule in dividing fraction. So according to the rule, multiply the dividend by the reciprocal of the divisor. So our dividend is 17 over 3, and we will multiply it to the reciprocal of the divisor, which is 6 over 1. So 6 over 1 will now become 1 over 6. So from division, it will become multiplication as we invert the divisor from 6 over 1 into 1 over 6. So that is the second step. Okay, let's proceed now to multiplication. So we have 17 times 1, we have 17. 3 times 6, result is 18. So our fraction, the result of our multiplication is 17 over 18. Okay, so looking at the numbers class, we can no longer reduce this fraction because the numerator is a prime number. There is no other factor for 17 except 1 times 17. So this will now be our final answer, 17 over 18. Okay, let's take another example. You have division of mixed fraction by another mixed fraction. Now let's take into this rule. To divide mixed fraction by another mixed fraction, change mixed fraction to an improper fraction. So we will now change improper fraction into a proper fraction. So applying the rule that we have just applied a while ago, we will multiply the denominator by the whole number. So we have 6 times 5. So 30 plus 2, we have 32. Then bring down the the denominator of the mixed fraction. So the fraction will be 32 over 6. So the next, the divisor, we have 5 over 7. So again, we will change this into an improper fraction. 7 times 4 will have 28, plus 5 we have 33. So 33 will become the numerator of the fraction, and we will copy the denominator of the mixed fraction, which is 7. So the fraction is 33 over 7. So we were able to change the mixed fraction into an improper fraction. So we have 32 over 6 divided by 33 over 7. So we will now perform the division now, because we were able to change mixed fraction into an improper fraction. So we will multiply the dividend by the reciprocal of the divisor. So we will now have the reciprocal of 33 over 7, and it will become 7 over 33. So we have 32 over 6 times 7 over 33. So from division, it becomes multiplication now. Okay, we will now perform the multiplication. 32 times 7 will give us 224. And we multiply 33 times 6, we will get 198. Okay, looking at our fraction, we have 224 over 198. So numerator is bigger than the denominator. So this is an improper fraction. Therefore, we need to change this into a proper fraction. So how to do it? We will simply divide 224 by 198. So if we divide 224 by 198, so the first digit quotient is 1, and we will have multiply times 198, so it will become 198. So we will subtract that to 224. The result will be 26. Now 26 can no longer be divided by 128, so 26 becomes our remainder. Now we will now distribute the result. The quotient, which is 1, will become your whole number. Your remainder, which is 26, will become your numerator, and your divisor, which is 128, will become your denominator. So the result of dividing 224 by 198 will become 1 and 26 over 198. Okay, looking at our answer, 126 over 198. 26 and 198 can still be reduced, because 26 has two factors. We have 1 times 26 and 2 times 13. So we will use 2 as our common divisor, so that we can reduce 26 and 198 to its lowest term. So we will divide 26 divided by 2. We have 13. 198 divided by 2 will give us 99. And these two numbers can no longer be reduced. So this will now become our final answer. So we have 113 over 99. Okay, this is all for today's video. To all my subscribers, and for those who are new to my channel, thank you for watching. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe my channel, so that you will be notified for the next videos that I will be uploading. Once again, thank you and God bless.